If you asked, I'm going to talk about it. Let's quickly talk about the fucking secret lairs for Final Fantasy. They went on sale on Monday at around 5 PM UK time, and of course it was an absolute fucking shit show. Some of them sold out faster than the Marvel ones. Look, when the Marvel ones happened, I was involved with it. I was trying to get some. This one I wasn't so much. Don't really care that much about Final Fantasy. I'm enjoying the set. Hell, it's making me more interested in Final Fantasy for sure, but I wasn't trying to get hold of them, so I wasn't paying attention to what sold out and where. I think the weapons one sold out first in America. Different regions sell out in different ways. And I almost didn't want to talk about it because, well, I was thinking about doing so, and I thought, you know what, it's just such a fucking absolute negative circle jerk of energy. But lo and behold, less than behold, multiple patrons and people have asked me to cover it just because they want, I guess, someone to help them vent, someone to help them have that catharsis of like, what the fuck are we doing here? So this is that video. Buckle up, kiddos. If you want to buy product in the North Americas, whether you're buying single cards or sealed product for your Commander decks or other formats, you can do so from coolstuffinc.com. Use the code Kenobi, check out, to get 5% off your orders and help support the show. And in Europe, you've got magicmadhouse.co.uk. They've still got some Final Fantasy stuff in stock, and if you hit the notify me when back in stock, they should have new waves of the stuff coming in very soon as well. Keep in mind the code gets you 5% off, but it won't be doing it for pre-release or sale items. It's only for stuff that's currently on sale. Final Fantasy releases on Friday. So in short, Secret Lair as a system continues to fucking suck. We'll do the whole spiel, we'll do the whole normal rigmarole, and then we'll talk about some feels about it. So Secret Lair, if you don't know, if you're new to Magic or you're coming to this a little bit less informed, shall we say, you're a new player because of Final Fantasy, right? Secret Lair is the direct-to-consumer sales funnel through which Wizards will sell you cards, usually so they can get their share of the secondary market value. For example, with Bitter Blossom, a card that, you know, was a sought-after card at one point or another, they were selling it and some tokens for like £30. Basically acknowledging the fact that this one card was worth around £30 at the time, acknowledging the secondary market, which, of course, I don't acknowledge the secondary market because that get them in trouble for gambling, but it's acknowledging the secondary market. We just don't want to just sell you packs that might have cards that are sought after by a secondary market in them. They want to directly sell you, the consumer, those things because it looks good to the shareholder if they can, you know, reap those rewards too. They want all their fucking cake and to eat it. But if we put that cynical view of Secret Lairs aside, and I say cynical, it's cynical but it's true, the other part of Secret Lairs is that Wizards of the Coast saw another part of the community that they didn't get access to money-wise. Alterists, people who will alter and adjust your cards to look like other things, to paint them up so they look fancy. Wizards was like, we can do that. So they looked to take that part of the commercial pie as well. Now, the interesting about that, of course, is that Alterists still exists, and some people very much enjoy paying other people to paint their own Magic cards for them. I recently did one for Magnus the Red as a copy of Niv Mizzet Firemind. So it's not completely remove those things, but it's absolutely one of the angles that Wizards are going for, right? They want every single facet of Magic, even the communal aspects, to be in control by them. I guess the only thing they haven't got yet are the YouTubers, so they haven't pulled a full-on Games Workshop and tried to take all of that just yet. The other part of it means that they can have like interim products that aren't part of their major print release to sell to customers. That allows them to bolster quarter figures and have a smaller turnaround and a quicker turnaround for the products that they produce. Creating a whole set takes a long time to get all the art assets together and the design, but creating 5 cards and commissioning 5 artists, or 1 artist in some cases, to do 5 bits of art for 1 IP, much easier to turn around in terms of a short development window. And that's probably why Secret Lairs have exploded in popularity in terms of, with Wizards at least, in terms of the stuff they put out. So that's got you caught up. So Secret Lairs land between set releases or alongside set releases, and sometimes they are just random intellectual properties for Universes Beyond, or they're just like artist showcases. That's one of the upsides to the cynical side of them taking away from Alterists, is that some Secret Lairs, like the Frank Rosetta ones for these ones, showcase famous popular artists and allow you to get more cards from your favorite artists, and that is kind of wonderful. As much as I'm going to be very critical and cynical about Secret Lair in this video, I do think a direct-to-sales consumer model is absolutely fine if people can get hold of the stuff and it's not getting scalped. That's right, that's some fucking foreshadowing, baby. Once upon a time, these Secret Lairs were made to order, and what that meant was you'd buy a Secret Lair and you'd have to wait 8 months, sometimes as long as 12 months to get the stuff in your hands, because so many people bought it, it took Wizards a time to catch up, print it all, and get it dispatched and sent out. Wizards saw that as a, firstly, they claim it's bad for consumers, that like changing to the print to demand model, from print to demand model to printing a set amount and having it sell out was better for consumers. Yeah, we're going to go through how that's not the fucking case in a moment. But the reality is, I think it was easier for them to, with the volume of stuff that they're creating, from just the sheer number of secret lairs, you know, it's like, it averages like over one a week, isn't it? When we have like 4 or 5 drop-ins in 1 week, we have a space with none, but it evens out to be more than one a week since secret lairs were first invented. They have put out so much shit that they can't keep up with their own demand. That's why the delays started happening. Maybe you should invest in opening a second printing facility. Maybe you shouldn't put out like thousands and thousands of products. Like some of these don't sell out, by the way. Some of them aren't the slam dunks that Marvel or Final Fantasy are. So both the Marvel ones, which I did a video on, I'll link that down below. You can go click that and watch that for a more in-depth look at it. This one's more off the cuff than that one. And the Final Fantasy ones sold out extremely fast. So basically people signed in yesterday to try and queue and saw the little man walking on the bar. And some people got through in minutes. Others got through in hours. There's a huge discrepancy between what people are getting. Some people are reporting that signing in with different browsers gets you a different queue time, which is fucking absurd. There are still exploits if you click certain links or you start prior to the queue time with something else in your basket from secretlair.com. It shortens down your queue time. There's many exploits, which leads to people who aren't exploiting or aren't trying multiple browsers at once, waiting for hours and hours on end. Some people are reporting up to 6 hours waits before they got to the final queue end to buy their stuff from their basket, and in that time they're being prompted that things are selling out, that the bundles that they're waiting for are going out of stock because everything is not print to demand anymore. There was a finite number of them printed and you've got to rush. You've got to fight against the FOMO to get one. Now, there was just so many fucking things wrong with this. One of the reasons I was so pro Secret Lair initially was that everyone could get hold of the stuff. The accessibility was off the chart. It meant that we weren't having this haves and have-nots situation. It's basically, other than it being dropped in a certain window where you might need to have the money available, and some people need to wait for payday, for example. That was one of the conversations I had on the channel before. But ultimately, everyone can get hold of the stuff if they want it, because there's a window to buy it in, and then it's printed to meet that demand. Now, it's a case of get in whilst you still can, and hope other people don't get it before you. And those other people might be bots and scalpers. Only this week did Games Workshop shut down their website to try and stop the scalping of one of their new releases for their Horus Heresy books, the limited edition ones. We saw over the course of the queue for this Secret Lair, we saw things just showing up on eBay at a markup whilst people were still queuing trying to buy the stuff. That's right, people were in queue trying to buy the weapons bundle or whatever the fuck's Final Fantasy thing they were trying to get. I'm being a bit dismissive there. Like, I think if you want these things, that's absolutely cool and valid, and I like that you have a thing you like. If these were Batman Secret Lairs, my arsehole would have been puckered and it had been wet. It would have been damp for it, frothing even. So I'm not dismissing your want for it. I'm more dismissing just how tired I am of this shit. History keeps fucking repeating itself, and the lack of printed demand, the get it before it's gone situation has continued to be dog shit for everyone involved. So Final Fantasy fans are left wanting. Final Fantasy fans and Magic fans are left not being able to get the stuff they want, but seeing it go up on eBay for a marked up price because the fucking scalpers are getting it first. And scalping doesn't fucking work if you print to demand. Come on, guys. Fuck me. The really interesting thing is, like, one of the questions that keeps getting asked is, surely they want the money? Surely they want more people to spend $200 to get a huge, like 4 or 5 Secret Lairs, an extra card or whatever, but instead they cut it off at a certain point. Now, I think there's got to be some logistical reasons for them to keep fucking doing this, because the Marvel Lairs, the Final Fantasy Lairs, what's it been, like 3 or 4 months at this point? Like, there must be a reason they aren't going back to the old system if the old system would make them more money. They're not stupid, and they're also not stupid when it comes to making fucking money. This is Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro we're talking about. So logistically, it must make them more money in a short-term period that looks better to shareholders, or perhaps it allows them to fulfill orders and move on to the next thing. And I think churning out more product is a better way to accumulate revenue and profit than it is to sell certain things on a larger scale, perhaps. There's got to be some logic behind the scenes, and I really want to know. I wonder if we'll ever know. But one of the really interesting points with this one is that Final Fantasy is bringing in a lot of new people and a lot of new eyes, so some people are witnessing the absolute fuckery that is Secret Lair for the first time. And I'm there in the gallows, rope around my neck, just trying to play Magic in paper or digital, and I'm like, first time? With the Marvel Lairs, we saw it a bit, people being frustrated trying to get them because people had never tried to get a Lair before trying to get them, but this time it's different. It feels different. There are people in my social media feeds who got into Magic 6 months ago because of Final Fantasy. They were excited for Final Fantasy, they tried to get in early. Magic sort of gripped them through how great Magic can be, and now they are getting to Final Fantasy release and they're finding out that the product's expensive, it's not available on store shelves, the allocations are too low in the UK and in Europe, we don't know when the reprint window is coming, and the Secret Lairs come out and they can't get hold of them because they're getting bought out from under them via a fucking FOMO methodology of sales to you and getting scalped on eBay, and most people are left thinking, why the fuck am I even trying? Yesterday, the Steam numbers, and that's just a fraction of the Arena player base. The Arena player base is spread across like mobile and desktop as well, just the direct straight-in launcher. But the Steam launcher for Arena hit a peak concurrent users of like 17,000, I think it was. Its previous peak was 15,000, like in 1 hour. So, what's that? That's like, sorry, 12,000. 5,000 more people logged into Arena to play Final Fantasy, whether that be returning players or new players. That's still a huge uptick. That's almost like a 50% uptick. No, that's more than 50%, right? 12 to 17. That's like 1 million. I use that point and that stat just to highlight how many people are returning or coming to Magic for the first time. And I must admit, it's got to be pretty fucky if you know Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or another card game, or you've played card games before, and you suddenly see the price. Like, some people have been told over the years that Magic is expensive. It's like, Magic and Warhammer have this, like, thing where people kind of fetishize the price a little bit. They're like, whoa, it's not going to be good for your wallet. But I think stuff like this really turns that up to 11. It makes the game look like a fucking parody as you queue in line, but watch the things you want go up for sale on eBay for a 20% markup. And some of those people were expressing problems on social media, thinking like, why do I even want to play? Like, this obviously isn't the game for me. A, I can't afford it, and B, I can't get hold of this shit. I think the anti-consumer mess that is the Secret Lair queuing system, alongside the price points of Final Fantasy, in spite of it selling out everywhere, or selling very well, should I say. Products are still on shelves as far as I understand it, but those things, they can't be good for the optics of the game. They can't be keeping the people who are getting gripped by the aesthetics and the art, by the incredible art teams and art directors of Magic the Gathering. Those things are pulling you in, gameplay and art and aesthetics, and then you start to try and buy it and you're like, oh, the economics of this are kind of fucking dire. I think that's the one way that the Universes Beyond experiment, the Universes Beyond project is really gonna falter and struggle going forward, is if Wizards don't do something to address these kinds of issues to try and keep those new players who are coming in from thinking, fuck this, I'll just play Pokemon, or fuck this, I'll just play the Final Fantasy video games. Why am I trying to play these dumb little wizard squares if they cost me so much? Or I can't get a hold of them because scalpers bought them. Ultimately, the thing I always say in these videos is that Secret Lairs are a cosmetic thing for the most part, unless they're mechanically unique, which sometimes they are. If you're new to this, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into that too much right now. But at least in this case, they're just like cosmetics. They're skins of existing cards. But the point is, they're skins of existing cards that sell out and you can't get them, and then scalpers try to sell them back to you at a premium. That doesn't tend to happen with the skins in Fortnite. Something I'll talk about in a further video is like, the Fortnite-ification of Magic is a thing that people throw around that I don't think is fair, because I think Magic engages with the themes, the flavors, and the mechanics of other games better than Fortnite does. But there's a really interesting point of like, not only do we have this Fortnite-ification, inverted commas, but we also have this desire to make the game into the collectible, spenny, expensive, flashy chase game that's a Pokemon feels like to most Pokemon collectors, because Pokemon is primarily a collecting thing, with the gamers kind of coming second fiddle to those people. That's two very different, like, separate things to what Magic has always been. I guess arguably the collectory, expensive, reserve list kind of thing has always existed in Magic in some capacity. It's just been turned up to 11 by the current leadership, shall we say. But it's no wonder that the old guard feel pushed out by these two sort of new like onward trajectory points for Magic. And the question is, if the old guard gets burnt out by those things, and the new guard, the new players that are coming in mass because of Final Fantasy, one of the things that's maybe kind of fallen in love with the set is just how many new people are trying the game for the first time and realizing how good Magic can actually be. But if we're dissuading the old guard and dissuading the new guard, who the fuck do we have left in a year's time? I've been Vince, or PleasantKenobi on the internet. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.